Welcome to Malaysia, 25 kilometres south of Kuala Lumpur, the city of Putrajaya, which, as well as being the home of the country's parliament, is establishing itself a reputation as a centre for water sports.
We're here at Putrajaya, Malaysia for the 2011 Nautique Asian Waterski and Wakeboard Championships. We've got 14 Asian countries here. We've got the best athletes in our region, and very proud to have this many participants here this weekend. We've never had a dedicated Asian championships. We've always had them combined with our regional Asia Oceania championships. We have those every 2 years, and this year we felt we needed to fill that gap. And here we are at Putrajaya in wonderful weather, and look at that backdrop and good conditions, great boats, and I believe this is basically going to start a trend having them every year.
I think the organisers did a wonderful job with this event. Everything's running really smoothly. We've got good boats, good place. Yeah, and the location's great. People are really supportive, and the competition is good competition for us.
What's up, Malaysia?
This is the first Asian championship that attracted a lot of countries. We've got 14, some kind of a coup for us, and I'm very happy with it, and very, very pleased.
Well, Putrajaya is no stranger to the sport, having hosted 2 World Cups. So what was the background to the story?
Hanifa is the person responsible for developing the sports here. Came to us many years ago and said he wants to do water skiing. I said go ahead, and there was no turning back. We held 2 WWF World Cup here, 2008 and 2009. They were very successful, and then we thought that this is the time to develop our own skiers, and that's what we did. Then they trained Hanifa Hayung, train our young skiers, and so that they can be up to competition level.
And that effort to bring on young talent is certainly bearing fruit. And of course the development programme is continuing apace.
We need to spur the junior development, and under 17 is crucial to be incorporated with the main Asian Championship. And we are in a hurry now, following the 08-09 World Cup in Putrajaya, to build a legacy, not only in Malaysia but the whole of Asia. It is my personal ambition to more or less aim for the highest for the continent of Asia, because 100 years of water skiing, we still have no Asian champion. So it is a very lofty aim, but we hope with Putrajaya taking the lead and setting certain benchmarks, and hope to get a world champion from Asia within the next 10 years.
So, high hopes for the future here in Malaysia, but they're certainly based in reality. And of course the amazing performance of some incredible new talent.
My name is Alia Young Hanifa, and I am 8 years old. I'm from Malaysia.
And how do you think it will go today?
I think it will go good.
So lots of confidence on display from a girl of just 8 years of age, but justifiably so, as it turned out. Alia Young Hanifa here beating her own personal best and national record, taking the win in the under-17 girls tricks category with a total score of 3,230, with Indonesia's Alamia Priambura Nur in second with 2,090, and Malaysia's Hani Azimi third on 1,480. And indeed, we'll be seeing more from the rising young star, as Alia will also take on the challenge of the Open Ladies Tricks Finals.
Congratulations to all of you here.
It's not just the junior girls who are out to impress. There was no shortage of talent on display among the under-17 boys. Well, in the boys category, bronze went to the United Arab Emirates' Khalid Al Ali on 700 points. Indonesia's Guru Dwi coming in with silver with 1,730 points, and his teammate Safradi Widodo winning the gold with a total of 2,250 points. Next, the under-17 girls were back in the water to battle it out in the slalom. Hannes Azimi of Malaysia, who'd been third in tricks, took the same podium position in slalom, achieving 1.5 buoys on a boat speed of 46 knots. While her teammate Nadia Nazir fared quite a bit better and took the silver medal position with 4.5 buoys at the same speed. Standing head and shoulders above the competition, though, was Singapore's Kayla Key, who with 5 buoys was just one short of a perfect score at a boat speed of 55 knots. So, victory in the under-17 girls slalom going to Singapore's Kayla Key.
Please stand still.
In the boys' slalom, there was a similarly tough battle for places. Third eventually going to Indonesia's Safradi Widodo, who managed 1.5 buoys at 52 knots, while Malaysia's Norman Abdullah Rahman Shamal took second spot with 2.5 buoys at the same boat speed. First in the category, though, was Guru Dwi from Indonesia, who took the win with 0.5 buoy at a higher speed, 55 knots. And finally, in the under-17 boys jump, Indonesia's Safradi Widodo completed what had been a great day by taking his third medal from 3 finals. This won the gold with a jump measuring 26.9 metres. So, time now for the Open Ladies Tricks Finals. 6 of the biggest names in Asian water skiing battling it out for this brand new title. As we join our commentator, Matt Crowhurst.
And yet another incredible backdrop by our Asian hosts for yet another amazing water sports event. Asia being the host of many a world-class wakeboard and water ski event over the past few years, and they cannot get enough. Here we are with the Open Ladies Trick Finals of this Asian Games, and unfortunately, Haru coming out falling on her very first trick of her very first run. It was the toe 5, and you notice that she had a little stutter after the first 360, not keeping that rotation fluid, leaving her leg out, causing her to fall out the back. She does have a second run, starting off with weight back. Weight 180 back in, then going through the 180s to get herself moving. 180 back and forth, then moving into the weight back to back cleanly, looking for that air over the top of the wake and a clean full rotation over the top. Then it's the steps. Step back, then going across the wake. Once again, needing air as you cross that wake in order for the trick to count. Wake step back, and then a side slide straight on the end, and a very smooth run to round off what was a shaky start after that first fall for Haru Kamiya of Japan. Watching once again her wake steps, getting that leg over the line nice and cleanly, no worry there, and seeing that sunshine between the ski and the top of the wake. We move on to our next rider, and this young lady, I say young, that is the opposite word in that sentence, just 8 years old, making the Open Ladies Trick Final. It is Alia Young Hanifa of Malaysia, so local support for this young lady, starting straight off with the step routine. Wake step, step front, step back, then going back into the middle of the wake. Then she gets into her back-to-backs, weight back-to-back, looking cleanly once again. A little bit early coming into the wake off that second weight back-to-back. Now a setup maneuver, it's a weight back, weight 180, leaving her time, and that is a clean first pass for her. We thought that there might be some more tricks at the end of that. Obviously there is only a certain amount of time in which to perform these tricks for each of our skiers. There is a start buoy and an end buoy, and they have to cramp everything into that set distance. Second run now, wrapping up exactly the same as we saw from Haru. It's the toe 540, and with these tricks we're wanting to see that the ski continuing to rotate. It cannot stop. It has to keep on moving for the full rotations to be counted. Starting off with a good toe 5, toe 3 in. That's difficult from the young girl. A little bit of a wobble, and she manages to control it. Takes that wobble straight back into a toe 8 180 and back to the middle of the lake, and she claims it. That is 2 clean passes in front of a home crowd here in Malaysia. That young lady has got to be happy.
And we'll be back with the rest of the action from the women's open tricks in just a short while. Well, also still to come, we have high-octane powerboating. And later in the show, we take to the skies with the kite surfers. See you in a few minutes. Welcome back to the show. We now return to Malaysia for highlights from the Asian Wakeboard and Waterski Championships. Welcome back, as now we head straight back onto the water for the conclusion of the finals of the women's open tricks.
Next for our riders, and we go from Malaysia to Thailand. It is Saria from Suntisit. Starting off her very first pass. She is going for a toe run to get things going. Usually most skiers will opt for a toe pass where their foot is hooked on. That is their only attachment to the boat, and then they follow up with a handle pass. Good start, perhaps a little bit of a falter, a stop between the toe 3 and the toe back, but then really getting into the swing of things for the remaining tricks. Toe side right at the end, and now she goes for the toe 3 in. Good pull on that leg to make that rotation smooth in and out. Oh, she did well to hold that. A little bit of a stuffing of the edge coming into the wake on that toe weight 180, but she pulls it away, muscles through, and it's a clean first pass. And I think she's just recognising there that it could have all gone very wrong indeed. Here's the toe 3 in, toe 3 out. Beautifully done. And as she moves across the weight, you see her edge actually sticks. She pulls the 180 and actually wrestles herself back into a balanced position to make it through. Helicopter out. That's a wrap 360 out. Then going through the back-to-backs. Weight back-to-back. A little bit of slack that she's got to contend with. Weight back-to-back. Smoothly done. Comes front once again. Sets up with a weight 180. Comes back in. For a weight 180 back in. She's going for her step routine now. Step back, step front, puts the foot back in the foothold in the back, and it's side slide to make up 2 clean passes yet again. So far it is Malaysia and Thailand leading the way. Aliyah, our youngest rider, 8-year-old, and then Saria looking very comfortable, our last 2 ladies out on the water. 4th lady to take to the water, and it is Japan, Hiroko Komori, starting off with weight back, now going through weight 180, then moving back into a setup for a back-to-back, keeping that ski moving right through the rotations. Weight back-to-back's looking clean, then her step routine. So similar tricks we're seeing from all the girls so far, just in different orders. Oh, almost going out the back towards the boat, but she muscles through, gets the side slides right on the end, and that was actually one of the more controlled passes we have seen from any of our girls. Second pass now for our lady from Japan. She wraps up for a toe 3, toe 5, sorry, keeping that ski rotating. Oh, and locking into that reverse 180 position to go toe 8 back to back. That is very technical stuff indeed. Gets the toe sides in, wraps reverse through the toe back to backs. Oh, toe 5 in as well, straight from that reverse wrap. And she makes the toe 5 in, but falters, falling out the back on what is actually the easier maneuver, the toe 3 out. But good riding. That is the most technical stuff we've seen so far from any of our ladies. Now Japan once again, it is Saya Hirosawa starting off with her hand run. Way back, then she goes into her backs, back to back, keeping that ski rotating, locking in, perhaps not enough air on that weight back to back out, but she rectifies that coming back in. Now the step overs, moving to wake step front, gets the foot back into the loop hold at the back, and that is a clean first pass, and she claims it, settling those nerves on that very first run. Toe pass now. Starting wrapped up, moving through very smoothly, lots of control in those first few rotations. Now her toe back-to-backs. Trying to keep the upper half as still as possible, because moving those hands around, while they do compensate for any wobbles, they can actually cause you to wobble a little bit more. Toe back, toe 3 in, keeps her control nicely, in and out. That's a double fist pump and 2 clean runs from Saya Hirosawa. Last lady in this open ladies trick final at the Asian Waterski and Wakeboard Championships. It is Song Yu Fei starting off with the first of our ski line 5s. So you'll notice she's wrapped up, and a leg comes over right at the last minute to make that 540 rotation. Weight back to back, weight back to back, back to back in the middle. Then the 540 out. Oh, and catastrophe for Song, as she was looking so comfortable to start things off, but sticking that rotation halfway through, not managing to rotate the entire 540, and gets hooked up, which is catastrophe on her very first pass, meaning there is a lot to make up on this second and final run for her. Starting off toe 5, also 7, I apologise, with the reverse wrap in, then pulling into the more comfortable wrap, and then she goes through the toe back-to-back routines. Toe 5 in, toe 3 in, grabs hold of the line, toe 3 out, getting air over the top of the wake. Toe weight back, then toe weight back-to-backs, in and out, showing some real trick skiing skill on that second pass from Song. We'll have to see whether that second pass made up the difference, and we'll see her to the top of the podium compared with the rest of our stellar lineup of Open Trick Ladies finalists.
So the results of the Open Ladies Tricks finals here in Putrajaya. Amazingly, the 8-year-old Aliyah Young Hanifa showing she's already got what it takes. Third here today, representing Malaysia's. Second, Japan's Saya Hirawasa, but taking the win, Song Yufei of China. So it's back onto the water now for the Open Men's Tricks finals. Our commentator once again, Matt Crowhurst.
It is time for the men to do their thing in this open trick final of the IWF Asian Waterski and Wakeboard Championships in Malaysia, and Kim Dong-yeon starting things off with his hand routine. Getting that basic back-to-back routine done, then getting through the 540s, looking good both ways, 540 in and out, a little bit of a stutter there, and another 540, pulls out wide for the first of his inverts. It's backflip off his toe approach, then another backflip off his other approach, pops it back to a wrap-up 180 for a flip from back to front, and that is a clean first run from the Korean. Very nice stuff indeed. And as you'll see, there is no toe loop whatsoever. It is just hand tricks. This is his speciality. Getting his back-to-back routine done once again, setting up for a few 180s, back and forth, then getting out wide again. He loves going upside down. It is that wrap start for the backflip once again. I think we saw that in the first pass. And then he comes back for the reverse of that. It is a backflip starting forwards and then landing in the 180 position. But that is where he is done, not managing to hold that last invert. Some high-end, high-octane stuff from the Korean, moving on to some more finesse with our Indonesian. It is Muhammad Andri Fabiandi starting off with his toe routine. Looking very comfortable as well. Toe 3 in, coming out, a little bit of erratic movement with the upper body, but he controls his lower half nicely, grabs hold of that rope for the toe 3 out. And if you're wondering how these guys can actually get away with doing toe tricks, you'll notice the rope actually released from the boat. Each of our trick skiers, if they're doing toe maneuvers, will have someone in the boat watching them to release the release mechanism so that they are not dragged along, because obviously that could cause a little bit of mischief to any skier out there. Now, Indonesian looking comfortable on his hand pass, going through the step routine, choosing to do his step back in front in between the wake, then going step and then 180 front for a step 3 out. That is unusual. A little bit of improv right there, but not the cleanest two passes that he was after, as you can see by the frustration on his face. Back to Korea, and a big contingent of Koreans in this trick final. Obviously a lot of skill in that part of the world in the trick water skiing discipline. It is Bum Jeoncho starting off with his toe routine, keeping it nice and smooth. The idea that you want to keep the trick smooth, but the time between tricks keep to a minimum. That way you can pack more maneuvers in the allotted time, and there isn't a lot of time. Oh, that was a cropper, and great releasing from his teammate in the boat. A little bit of a stutter, not getting the pull he wanted on that toe 3 in. So moving on to the handle pass, going through the back routine. Once again, another stutter, pulling that handle high, causing him to almost slip out the back. Getting the back-to-backs, then the 180, then the wake 3 out. First of the inverts, power maneuvers as you see them drive that edge through the top of the wake to try and get the height that they need, and then just shoving on a couple of side slides on the end still while out wide, almost out of control. That's the sort of improv you need if you're going to rack up the points. Back to Indonesia, it is Zakidi Muhammad Putu starting off with his weight 180s, coming front. Then a 180 back in, a little bit too far away from the boat on that reverse wrap, the more difficult way of rotating. Back-to-back's looking good though, still leaning a little bit too far away from the boat, which could be the undoing thing. 540 out, then step, then wake step in. Oh, out the back, and that could have been a cause for releasing the handle, but obviously having trust in his skier not to release the rope. Moving on to his second pass. It's the toe routine, toe 5. Toe back to back. Toe back to back. Then just straight forward, toe back, toe front, toe back, toe front. Toe weight 180. Toe weight 180 back in. All looking smooth at this stage. Toe side, toe side. And something slightly more technical is the toe 3 in. Difficult trick indeed, and was the undoing of him. Will get the toe 3 in manoeuvre if the judges consider that that was clean all the way up until that point, but it was only on the way out that he came a cropper. Getting release, perhaps a little bit late in actual fact. So a fall for Tahiti Mohamed Putsu on that very last manoeuvre on his toe run, and we go back to Japan for Sunhiro Hagama, starting off with foot out of that back toe loop, going straight into his step routine. Wake step, step front, step back, wake step back in, pops his foot back into the toe loop to go through the rest of his hand pass run. Oh, wrapping up without the handle pass, that is improv there as well. And then a reverse 180 going out the opposite way, moving into his backflip, and then a side slide right on the end. Oh, that is unfortunate. It's not often that these skiers will be ever falling on that trick. They are fill-in tricks just to squeeze a couple of extra points on the end of the run. You notice him go that way and actually get hooked up on that last reverse side slide. It is the end of his first pass, and he does have his whole toe pass to go. It's going to be a toe 5 to start. Nicely done. Lots of control all the way through. Toe back to backs to follow up. Then toe 180s. Back and front. Toe 5 in. Controls the pull. It's often on that trick, as I was just about to say before it happens, that you fall out the back. He looked good up until that point. The toe 3 in, usually the point at which you would fall out the back. But Sunrico falling out on the way out of that toe 5. And it is just one lonely Chinaman in between him and the rest of the field. It is Fei Shilong starting off his run really aggressively, pumping through those tricks early on, getting his back-to-back routines down, then the 3, then straight into the backflip, and not needing any width on those flips at all. Perhaps that was the undoing of that second invert. You notice the other skiers really getting a lot of momentum from coming in out wide, whereas Fei Shilong opting to go for the minimum amount of time in between tricks to try and really power through them and rack up as many maneuvers as possible. Onto his toe pass after the fall at the very end of that first pass. Toe 5 out, toe back to back, toe back to back. Toe 5 in, grabs hold of the line. Toe 3 in, grabs hold of the line again to go for the toe 3 out. Nicely done. Toe weight 180, toe front. Then he sets up for the reverse, going for the toe weight back to back. Toe weight back to back, and then coming in and not choosing to pull the toe weight back to back on the way in, and then a toe side at the end. Claims it and is happy with that second run. So just the one fall, perhaps a little frustration because of that, but this toe run was the really making of those two passes for Fei Shilong.
So the results of the men's open trick finals: Mohamed Febiandi Andri of Indonesia 3rd, Bungan Cho of Korea 2nd, and Shilong Fei of China taking the win.
Fei Shi, China! Thank you.
And we'll have more from Malaysia in next week's show. But join us after the break for the latest action from the New Zealand Jet Sprinting Championships. See you in a few minutes.